It's a new day for a new commentary, and to take care of everything in post commentary so I can focus in the moment on gameplay. I'm sure I'm not gonna make random idle commentary with myself going through the game just out of habit, and it's screwing up my gameplay in the process. Anyways, welcome back to Mad Red Dead. We did it! Last part, we learned the secret to reversing time, so our rat friend here can relive his last day. And it worked. He went back in time before, I presume, he was killed off by the human. I assume it's the time frame we went back to. All thanks to that rat god character that we met earlier on. So hey, we only got one day to make Rat's dream come true, so let's get to it. What was it again? Something about, revenge against human, and may or may not involve murder, and may or may not be a rat trying to murder a person. And oh boy, what the heck did we sign up for? Not sure how much I got to talk about in the last part, but as I was trying to say when we were in that scene of Rat holding down the heart and being able to hear the music that we could in order to actually play along the beat, and me just being a sucker for when video games implement their game mechanics that would normally just be an outside factor into the story of the game. Just like how this figure's like giving us a beat out of nowhere. I tend to find that stuff really cool. Sure, it's always a fun running gag to go, video game logic. Do not question it. Don't ask for questions you aren't prepared for the answer for, and things like that. Anyways, we're about to get started on a brand new level that I'm sure I won't do anything stupid for right at the beginning of it. Cue transitions to me doing something stupid. I'm kind of curious if I can make myself go up here. And I can go back in the cage. That was completely utterly pointless and kind of screwed up all my rhythm, but that's worth doing. In fact, why don't I just showcase the start from beginning feature? Well, first, I kind of just want to prove that I can get out of there. But I mean, hey, I'm showcasing all the cool features today. Just the fact that when you pause and unpause, it resets the beat, giving you a chance to get back into it. Like, you don't instantly go right into the action because it's a rhythm game where you have to time your batches to the beat. But we are on a time limit, so I think I'm going to restart for real. At least while we're right at the beginning of it all. Oh shoot, they make you go for the dialogue again. Up. Do 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 do. Cool. I mean, it's not all lost. I can showcase the fact that you hold on B to speed for the dialogue. Getting all the basics out on that first episode. Good job, past me. Pretending to do something completely dumb and totally not on purpose to showcase a whole bunch of mechanics to this game that I would have otherwise completely ignored and probably never brought up on commentary. You're a genius. A pure, mad genius. So as the first level of the game, we're taking in everything we learned from the tutorial, making it factor. Actually, I don't think we got a chance to go over it in the tutorial because they didn't appear yet. But these green chips that we're collecting, they're like mini time beats. Every time you get one, I think they increase the beat by... Let's just watch closely and see. It looks like it's about 1. Maybe 5. Yeah, I think it's just 1 each. And they kind of... It only looked like more because they rounded out in that. So, like, they're only really worth collecting if you get them along the way, but kind of like how coins play out in Mario, they sometimes act as pretty good visual cues of how to react in certain platforming areas, like how to overcome certain obstacles. Like, for example, if we had like an upper path and a lower path, and those green time chips, I'm just going to refer to them to until I learn their official name. Like up here, like, they have the time chips up in the air and not quite on the ground. So you kind of get the idea that you don't have to fall. If you just keep dashing, you just clear that area in the air without falling. Likewise, if we had like a split path and there's more time chips going one way, and here's another example, just like wall jumping indications with the time chips being in just enough space from each other to actually do the wall jumping. It's just a subtle way to guide you, kind of like how coins in a Mario game would sometimes play out. I'm sure there's some more complicated examples that will make more sense when we get into later areas of the game. So like, they're overall worthwhile to collect, but you can end up wasting more time than you spend collecting them if you go out your way. Like, if you go out your way for them. It's more so like, they're not worth backtracking for, but they're a good visual cue of what direction to go, and they make it worthwhile to actually take the time to go for them, as long as you're not, like, backtracking for them. So, if I'm not mistaken, we're about to come across our first enemies in the level, which would make this as good of a time as any to properly showcase everything when I talk about the homing attack, and how to make it work the best you possibly can. Cause that might be a problem you run into here. Oh, that was way too close. So, like we saw in the tutorial, the homing attack will automatically trigger when we're in the air nearby an enemy. Those icons will start to show around the enemy if we can homing attack them, and once the blue-yellow circle go completely around them, that's your cue to press B to actually pull off that homing attack. Of course, since this is a rhythm game, all this has to be done in rhythm. And if you press the B button, even when it's ready to do the homing attack, if you press the B button out of rhythm, you'll screw it up. You can kind of like air stall a little bit by pressing B button on your other beats. And you see that it worked for me then. But I swear there have been times that it did not work. Another wonky thing about the homing attack is that all your movement is on the rhythm. And I think the easiest way to describe it is that sometimes I feel like the rhythm of doing the homing attack is different from the rhythm of the music, or at least it feels like it's different. I get in my head that the homing attack rhythm goes one way, and the music rhythm goes another way, and I can occasionally mess up my steps, mess up my inputs because of that. That's not even the worst part about the homing attack though. You know what though? I think it'd be more fun to just save that for a level where I actually run into that issue. Fun. Speaking of fun, well, there it is. Look, it's the human. He doesn't even know that I've broken out. Yet, I'll make him regret everything. While I'm on the tangent of doing voices, like, I've been really conflicted of just what type of voice Rat would have. Cause like, his tough guy attitude kind of makes me think he would have a bit of a gruffy voice. Kinda like I heard in Encounter. Like, is that you, Rat God? What are you guys saying? How can there be a Rat God inside of a rat? But more so just like, the voice clips that we're hearing right now make him sound like a little rat, which makes sense. He is like still a little rodent. If he acts so tough and mighty, like your vocal cords don't magically change because your personality does. So I've been bouncing between like, hey, who the heck are you? And who the heck are you? That doesn't matter because sure, because the nerd in me is just going like, sure, you're a heart shape, but that really a heart shape? At least what a heart inside of a body would look like? But then again, you gotta remember this is a cartoon. And you can only explain like some video game logic. You can't explain away all of video game logic. Anyways, you're not missing too much. We're just getting introduced to Heart. I hope you like Heart because they're the other main character of this entire game. And they're just having like a little bicker back and forth with each other. And now we get to see Heart along with us, doing fun things in the process. Give me another piece of lettuce for that garden that I'm building because I got ahead of myself again. But Heart is gonna be a visual cue throughout our adventure. As you see, they're just beating alongside with us as we go for the beat, going for our movement. I don't think I've talked about this before, but we have that combo meter above our timer. it's not relevant for beating the levels, but like, since it's a rhythm game and you get rankings and all that, you may be paying attention to the combo meter if you're going for replayability. And obviously, like, the higher your combo, the better your score. As you may notice in like the last level, we got rated in 3 different categories: how quickly we beat the level, how high we got the combo, and our overall score. They're all similar enough that as long as you play well, they all work together and you can usually have a good beat in terms of, and I hate like when, as someone who struggles to keep in rhythm with the game as is, I hate when they do sudden changes to the beat to it like that, because yeah, the gameplay is reflected accordingly. Your movement, you only move when there's a beat to the music, no matter how fast or slow that beat is, and the game loves to play around with that in later levels. Oh, I got on so many tangents, I almost forgot about the whole reason I was bringing up the combo in the first place. Heart is kinda not like our visual indicator of how well our combo is going. And as we get like higher and higher combos, don't mind me, I was panicking a little bit because I was pretty sure that book wasn't gonna patiently wait for us to clear the area to get out of there. You may have saw earlier in the level, Heart reacts differently depending on how high our combo is. I don't know if I'm gonna get my combo high enough again to show it off again, but yeah, Heart went from just like watching contentedly at us. And I think when we hit 50, Heart starts cheering, as you see here. And I do think that goes up like every 50 beats. Like, I don't recall exactly how high it goes off the top of my head, but I think like I've seen Heart have a different reaction all the way up to like 200. But I think like I'm pretty sure I haven't got a combo higher than 200 my entire time playing the game. Gotta love those shakeups. It's what makes the game though, so I can't complain too much. Don't mind the weird stuff I was doing earlier though. Again, I just learned a couple levels ago an entire feature of this game, and I want to make sure I never forget it ever again. I also completely skipped over the concept of those pipes that we have. It's not exactly worth making too much fanfare over, but your controls do change a tiny bit going through them. Like, you move at a set pace when you press A. You still jump when you press B. I don't think you can do the charge. And obviously you don't do the stomp because you're on the ground, but like, I think like for a couple seconds after you leave one pipe and are jumping to another, you can do some of those features. I'm sure you'll see as we go through. It's a little hard to explain because I don't fully get it myself. But hey, we just got our first real death, or first hit, entire playthrough. This is what happens. We have the ability to turn back time to avoid death, and we're certainly going to use it. The game gives you a fairly generous amount of backtracking to deal with. Like, very rarely will you find yourself in a situation where you can't turn time back far enough, or feel like you're missing out on a perfect opportunity to get yourself set back up. Plus, it's also worth noting that that timer that we have counting down is not going to go back the further back in time we go. So actually, the further back we go, the more time we really lose, because we have to spend those beats to get back to that point. So I usually like try to pick an area as close to where I died, but still gives me time to react to whatever killed me in the first place. And by yourself, the game even gives you like a couple seconds to like get into the rhythm of the... They don't start you right back on the beat, they give you like a second to listen to the beat, so you can get your reflexes, or whatever you use to keep in touch with a rhythm game, and go through like that. And also, we just found another case of something that makes it real easy for me to make mistakes with. When you get a total miss, the game takes away all the beats, so you have a little bit of time to like recuperate yourself and get yourself back in rhythm. However, like, I don't usually notice I make the mistake until like 5 beats in, so I'm already pressing the button, but the game counts that as a mistake, or counts that as you pressing it too early, because the beats aren't even close to the center yet. So sometimes I miss up like 2 to 5 beats just trying to get back in rhythm because I'm not used to the way the game tries to compensate for me. Anyways, it's story time! So, about time Rat is catching hard up to what he knows about his death, the Rat God, his time turning back thing, and why he wants to go and kill the human. These two really do have a yin and yang sort of vibe to them. Mad Rat is just all rough and tough, wanting to do the impossible, while Heart is like easy and carefree and feels like it has a bit of a childlike innocence. But I'm sure we'll find out more about all that throughout the adventure. I'll be honest, like, I'm not used to not reading the dialogue, so I'm just trying to find ways to kill the time. I triple bet. You can't kill a human. Uh-huh, I can kill a human. No. Uh-huh. No. Uh-huh. No. Uh-huh. Swear that sounded a little better in my head. So, between you and me, we're about closing the end of this part. I was debating a little bit whether or not to add the next level into the next part, but honestly, like, the next cutscene kind of drags on a little bit. So, it'll be a little bit before we get into a new level anyways. So I think this makes a good time as any to end off the episode. Thank you all for tuning in for this edition of Mad Rat Dead. You know, I have an idea. Getting back at the human may be our Rat's friend stream, but who says he has to do it alone? Why don't we go see if we can find some more friends for our Rat friend in the next episode? We made one friend this episode, so surely it'll just keep doubling and doubling. Take care.